Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I put in a day. And I remember telling you, if you've hung out with me for any length of time, I told you if you ever saw me wearing this, that this is actually my pajamas, and I just quickly put a jacket over. This is right. I got boobs hanging to my knees, and I'm just sitting here ready for bed, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Cindy, let's go just burn those last fumes before you crawl off to bed. Call it a day, and call it a good day, right? Call it a day of accomplishments, and I make that time to fill my life up with a little bit of what will, I hope, help me tomorrow or next week or next year. I'm not always utilizing in the moment every single thing that I am delving into, but I can tell you one thing in this moment, it has been for a little bit. But it's only been in the past week or so that I've learned that in this moment right now, that I just have to do a little bit of riding those waves, right? I'm finding that I'm just kind of loose. I'm not finding, I used to call it like lifelines. My sisters used to dangle all these things down to me, and I would grab out them in the need. Sometimes she'd say, oh, let's go to the mall, let's go grocery shopping. And that grocery shopping would help me out so much. Yes, it was a visit with my sister, but, in the moment, I needed groceries. And, when you're in that struggle and you're in that worry, anything that is dangling down to you, of course you're going to grab at it, right? If I had known better, I would have just kind of struggled it out on my own, figured it out on my own. But when those solutions are so easily and readily available to us, and sometimes it's just a matter of giving up on our ego or in our beliefs a little bit. Sometimes it's just swaying a little bit in somebody else's directions, in somebody else's favor, in somebody else's goals, right? In that lifting, and that's perfectly okay if that's our choice. But lots of times we get influenced in that, not influenced in a good way. And I don't like to say that manipulation word, but you have to, right? Because there is a fine line between influence and manipulation. And I try really, really hard just to play out my own story, right? To work on those needs that I feel that I'm going to make use for. Like I said, whether it's right in the moment or if it's next week or next year or the next lifetime, that I'm just going to continue to do that. But I'm just sharing, right? In that process, yes, I've built up that experience and I've built up that knowledge and everything. But who am I to say how experienced that is? I try to live in my own experience. There's going to come a time when being woke is going to be the cool thing, right? It is. It's going to be, I could see it just so clearly. It's just right. It's just going to be another fad, right? And it's going to be hard for a lot of people not to fall into that manipulation just out of the want or just out of the need to figure out what's going on with themselves, right? I very easily could have fallen into the wrong hands. And in possibly, in those travels, I dabbled into a lot that maybe I did pick up a few things along the way. But because this is my story, right? This is my work for myself. And because it's tied up in my brand, how that happened, a little bit out of adapt and conquer. Sometimes it's out of my own necessity, right? Because I didn't know what else to share. And because in my own lessons and understanding, purpose comes from your pain, I just kind of fell into that and followed into that. And I feel that same thing going on right now in my life when I don't feel that I'm going to say rootedness, right? But it's more like that positive, that that immediate. Now I've lost it, right? But a truth in the moment, and it feels that way. But at the same time, I understand. I feel I understand that I gotta kind of ride things out a little bit. There's a little bit of uncertainty going on in my life, but I can see the movement. I can see the readjustments. I can see the placement of my life and situations and other people in my life. And I see that, right? And I feel that I don't have anything to contribute because I don't know what the next moment is leading into, because there's so much stuff going on all around me with everybody. When anybody I having a conversation with, and I can hear in these experiences and in these stories that other people are playing out, that it's a lot different than what's going on with me, but it's still a story being played out. And it just seems like placement to me. It just feels like readjustment to me. And so I'm just kind of feeling it out and just kind of positioning myself in the best scenario in whatever's coming across my path. I got called into work today. One of the girls is off and is going to be off for quite a while, so we're all going to have to pitch in again. But this is the norm at my work. Hello, Hannah. How are you today? What color are my shoes? Who are you? I'm not quite sure. Right? In the moment, I'm not wearing any shoes at all. I'm wearing a pair of house slippers, house sandals. And when I'm out and about between October and May of each year, I'm wearing the Keen Avalanche thermal boots. So it's wintertime here. Today you wouldn't know it. Oh my goodness, it's a big mud puddle here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Just a great big mud puddle. Everything is melting. +2 right now, +2 degrees. This time of year, we're usually looking at the -20s, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen for another thing. Oh, my reel. Yeah. So, and losing track, and that happens to me sometimes when I'm looking at the comments off to the side, you guys, that I sometimes do lose track. But if you hang out with me, right, and there, I am grateful that I do have people who've hung out with me for a long time. They know that these stalls happen, right? So it's not like it's Alzheimer's. It's short term memory loss, and it's due to trauma, and just one of those things that I had the privilege, like absolute privilege, of getting to learn about myself, right? That my experiences were my experiences. They were me playing out my story. And because my purpose comes from my pain and because my pain comes from my own story, I get to relate that into my brand, right? And this has been fairly new when it comes to my brand. This week, we're celebrating my 10-year anniversary on YouTube, you guys. 10 years on YouTube. Pretty consistent, too, when you look at other YouTube creators. I have been on YouTube consistently. And, I think sometimes, that genuineness has helped me in those relationships because, like I said, I am very grateful that I have people who have been following my content for a very long time, almost as long as I've been online on YouTube. And I'm grateful for that. But I have pivoted so many times and I have changed so many times, right? And it's amazing that I get to have these changes and be comfortable in doing these changes um, in the midst of my life, in the midst of who's keeping company with me, right? They Everybody gets to see this experience, and this is my experience. And like I said, this is the story that I'm playing out, but there are lots of people out there playing out their own story, and to each one of us it's going to be different. And like I said, super grateful for a few lessons under the belt, right? So I'm continuing to do this for myself because it's such an amazing gift that I'm giving myself, because it's something that I much needed, and I'm giving it to myself. I'm not waiting for anybody else to give it to me, right? To have somebody else influence me in a way that I'm going to believe and live an untruth, right? An untruth for me, it could be a truth for whoever's influencing me, but that influence, right? If it's not for me, why am I digesting it, right? I'm digesting it because it's information. Because even if it's not for me, somewheres along the line, I'm going to come across the path with somebody where it's going to be maybe that lifesaver, that dangling rope that somebody can cling on to in the moment, right? I don't need every single lesson that comes across my path. But in the opportune moment, when somebody does come across my path and I have that information, that's going to be amazing and that's going to be helpful. And that's going to play into my story and play into somebody else's story. Oh, my 10-year anniversary coming up. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, here on YouTube, how many do we have? Right? 3,500 subscribers here on YouTube. That took me 10 years for that 3,500. I know that could change at any moment. When I first started on YouTube, I was an urban explorer. Like I said, I pivoted lots in this process, but holding on to my brand was the greatest gift that I could have given myself, because I had grown into the gift and the gift had grown into me. And now that reward is rewarding. And right, 3,500 subscribers, I am perfectly good with that. 100%. Because even if one person gets a little bit of some of this, what would Melvin call it? Yibber yabber. Yeah, he comes in, he says I'm a bit of a yapper, but that's why it's a podcast, and that's why it's a podcast of one, because I can yap, right? And it's not necessarily to drill anything through. It's in sharing my experience that people get to choose themselves, get to at least have their thoughts stirred a little bit so that maybe they can make some decisions for themselves, because it is in our choices. I chose to do this. I had free choice my entire life, right? And sometimes those choices allowed me to move, right, a ways and away. And some of them, right, I don't know, kind of got me stuck a little bit, didn't it? But they were all experiences in the end. And they were all experiences because, the people I hang out with, they can learn just as much from my mistakes along the way as they can from my successes, right? Am I going to be a YouTube superstar? One time I thought I was going to, right? But, I could have forced myself into it. I could have made myself fit into that role. I could have rehearsed it and come to the table all practiced and prepared. But I would have had a different crew, right? Maybe I would have had 35,000 subscribers until instead of my 3,500. But like I said, I'm good with my 3,500 because that 3,500, I would have to say, a good part of them, at the very least, recognize them when they pop into my live shows, right? And when I was down and out, they were what supported me. And believe me, when they're down and out, right, they better share and let us know so that we can hold them up too, because this isn't just a one way street. One of the first things I ever woke up to was we give energy, we don't take it, right? And it was probably a program that I've been running my entire life. And that's the truth. I wanted to come in here and burn the last little bit of energy. And you know what? It's not quite all done. So why don't we just spend, right? 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. We'll see. These are my cards. I'm doing what do you call that? Patent pending on my 54 powerful words. I've got the words written down, not the quotes or the thoughts or the sayings that I had put aside for each one of these words. I haven't gotten that far, you guys. I have a 10-year anniversary together. I haven't even. I started the video, and it's not even a video. Oh my goodness, where is it? My hard drive. I corrupted my hard drive. Like seriously corrupted my hard drive. I went back in to find all my footage going back 10 years. I can download it out of my YouTube channel, I'm sure, and put some videos together. But I had all that footage and I don't know if I can save it. I came up with another plan. I went through it today. I went all everywheres to try and see if I could resurrect all that footage. Couldn't, but then I came up with another idea because I downloaded all that stuff or uploaded, however you want to look at it, to that hard drive from all my memory cards. And I still have all my memory cards and all my memory sticks. So we're going to come in the back door and see if maybe I can find some of that footage, workable footage, that I could maybe work on in the next few days. Wednesday, we're going to have some kind of premiere or some kind of video or something going up. I'm going to do the very best that I can in my adapt and conquer, right? There will be something. At the very least, I will show up. I will be here and I will be here genuine. I will be here my as myself, flaws and gifts, right? Because it is in that energy that we share with each other and we share with ourselves. We should share with ourselves. Keep your cups full. I try to keep my cup so full, right? I'm not perfect, right? And I'm trying hard to be a little bit more sensitive to those, well, to those other parts of me as Cindy and those other parts of me to Cindy, right? It's in that partnership that maybe we can make a little bit of movement. We could do a little bit better by ourselves and a little bit better by others. Okay, you guys, quickly. First perspective that comes from picking this card, it is just a powerful word, but what we read into it, right? The experiences that we have, the conversations that we have, right? And whether we get it right or we get it wrong, it's still a part of playing out each one of our stories. Wow, I think last week we got this word out of 54 powerful words. My community, in this moment, it's you. It's true, right? It's my commitment to showing up every day in that hopefulness. I'm going to even be brave enough, right, to even step out that far and say hopefulness, because it's right. I usually use that word optimism, but it is, right, my 10-year anniversary, and we are hitting 3,500 subscribers, right? That is absolutely amazing. And if only a fraction of those people are still with me after 10 years, like even on one hand, 10 years. Some people don't even have any people in their lives. And I created that for myself by just showing up and hoping if I just showed up as myself, right? Then maybe there'd be people out there that might appreciate who I was and what I was trying to do, right? Even if I didn't know in the moment what I was doing, that if it was just like bumper cars, right? We play things up, we adapt and conquer, we ride the waves, and ride the waves has been coming up lots this week. And this is why I'm saying I'm in that state right now where I do just have to kind of feel it out, right? Because there's so many changes, so many, I'm calling rearrangements, right? Maybe it's the changing of the guards. Maybe. I have no idea. It's something. So I'm going to ride those waves. I'm not going to beat myself up. Going to do the best that I can. And however it plays out, it's going to play out. Understanding that my community is going to understand that sometimes I'm a little bit of a go-getter. Sometimes I bite more off than I chew. More than Sometimes I bite more off than I can chew. But also sometimes I procrastinate in something. Like today, I found out that I had corrupted that hard drive, right? That's something that I should have known a couple of weeks ago, that maybe I could have at least gone into my footage and found that information out, that maybe I wouldn't be scrambling in the end to figure out how can I dig it up, right? Not going to beat myself up. I'm going to take it as a lesson, right? Preparedness, I'm not that person because my genuineness does not shine, right? In preparedness, in that shiny, in that straightening my hair and making sure things are all tight and I'm all dressed up, right? I'm hanging out in my pajamas today, but I'm here. And that's what's most important, right? Because somebody who just needs somebody to be there is going to see that, right? I'm convinced of it 100%. This is this is my community, and if you have ever any need, right? You know how to get a hold of me. My email address, you can catch that down in the description. Catch me on my other platforms. You can get a hold of me, right? You can talk here. Community is live right in this moment. Yeah. I am very optimistic for the future, 100%. I'm just in a stage right now where I just gotta kind of bounce softly up against anything I'm bumping up against, and things are coming across my path, and we're just going to play it out. I'm going to get some extra hours anyway. We're going to put it towards that vehicle that we're picking up this spring, right? Grateful to have my community that hangs out with me in this process, right? And you never know, with me going through it, you might find yourself in this situation and you'll think, oh, I don't have to do that. I know Cindy did that. Cindy did that. I'll just go see what she did about that. Maybe you'll want to try it my way, or maybe you'll look at my failure and go, oh, yeah, no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to go that way. If not, you guys, I will see you on Monday. Saturdays, I take off for social media. I've been trying to get on to Instagram. I don't know why I'm saying trying. It's so easy just to hit that live button and just to go live, but it has been a thing. I want to go in and spend some time on Instagram. I haven't been on there for a while again, right? Trying to peel off a little bit of that heaviness in my life so that I can concentrate on what's most important in that moment. And that moment is like keeping my head right, right, just like everybody else. I'm bumbling along, just like everybody else. Everybody, have a great night. Thank you, Hannah. Very kind of you to pop in. Awesome. You guys, if you pop in later, put your feet up, sit down, be entertained. But whatever I yibber yabbered about, if you want to pop in Sunday night and come and meet my amazing community, they chat more than me, but more often, right, or not, they just sit back, let you come in, and they'll just enfold you like they enfold with me, right? They just wrap up a warm, like a warm blanket. And that's the best thing about being genuine, right? Because that's where the trust lies, right? Right? And in this world that we live in right now, right? It's pretty hard to, wow, trust what you don't know. And we don't know too much, do we? Right? We're finding we know a whole lot less than what we actually thought we did. At least I do anyway. Okay, you guys, you have a great night, and we'll see you Monday if we don't see you Sunday.